Welcome to Pain in the Grass, the official Lawn Pride podcast, where we dig deep into the real problems hiding in your yard. From weeds to grubs to mystery brown spots, we've got the dirt. Let's grow better together.
You know, usually when we talk about some kind of looming disaster, there are obvious warning signs.
Right, like dark clouds gathering.
Yeah, exactly. Dark clouds on the horizon or a sudden drop in the barometric pressure, maybe an actual alarm ringing in the distance.
Sure.
But right now, as you're listening to this, you might be looking out your window at a lush, brilliantly green lawn.
And it looks completely perfect.
It looks perfect. It looks incredibly safe, but that pristine patch of green you're admiring might actually be standing right on the precipice of a total summer collapse.
It's the ultimate illusion of safety, honestly.
Right.
We're just so culturally conditioned to see green grass in the spring and think, great, the yard looks amazing. My job here is done.
Which is a massive mistake.
A huge mistake, because biologically speaking, what you're seeing above ground right now is masking a massive high-stakes transition, and it's all happening just a few inches beneath the surface.
Okay, so let's unpack this, because this completely flipped my perspective on yard care. Welcome to today's deep dive.
Glad to be here for it.
Our mission today is to dig into some crucial, honestly eye-opening guidance we've been reviewing from the team at Lawn Pride of North Charlotte.
Yeah, they put together a really fantastic guide.
They did. It's this deeply researched guide on late spring lawn care, specifically looking at lawns in North Carolina. And the core message is urgent.
Extremely urgent.
It says the end of this current month is the ultimate make-or-break window. Like, what you do in the next 30 to 60 days is going to permanently dictate whether your yard actually survives the upcoming summer heat and drought.
Right, or if it just folds under the pressure. And that 30 to 60-day time frame, it isn't just some arbitrary schedule they made up.
No, it's biology.
Exactly. It is a biological imperative dictated by the climate and the specific genetics of the turf we're dealing with. We're talking about a very tight window where the grass transitions from one seasonal state to another.
Wow.
And the soil environment completely changes its chemistry and microbial activity, too.
As I was reading through this material, a specific analogy just kept coming to mind. Oh, yeah. I want you to look at your lawn right now, like a college student right before finals week.
Okay, I like this.
The semester is winding down, the weather's getting nice outside, and the student looks totally fine, right? Relaxed.
Right, they're tossing a frisbee on the quad.
Exactly. But they absolutely shouldn't be celebrating yet, because right now is that crucial window where they either lock themselves in the library, study, and build up the actual mental strength to pass.
Or they slack off.
Right, they slack off, enjoy the sunshine, and completely bomb the final exam.
That is a perfect way to look at it.
For your lawn, the looming summer heat, the July and August bake, is that brutal, unforgiving final exam.
Because if you just coast right now, if you just enjoy the spring weather, you are essentially ensuring failure when the severe environmental stress actually hits.
The heat is going to expose all the weaknesses.
Precisely. Underneath that green grass, soil temperatures are rising. And as that soil warms up, the root systems are becoming hyperactive.
They're searching for resources.
Exactly, which brings up an interesting invisible dynamic, because it's not just the grass roots that are waking up.
Right. The soil hitting specific temperature thresholds acts like an alarm clock for literally everything underground.
Everything. As the soil warms, the entire subterranean ecosystem shifts into a much higher gear.
So we're talking weeds and pests.
Oh, absolutely. Both weeds and pests are quietly gaining massive momentum right alongside your grass. Weeds are germinating, insect larvae are hatching.
It's a war zone down there.
It is. It's a literal arms race happening invisibly beneath your feet.
Which requires a massive mindset shift for anyone who actually wants a nice yard.
Yes, it does.
You have to move away from that spring green up mentality. That phase is completely over. You have to pivot immediately to a proactive summer preparation mindset.
Right.
But I have to be honest here. I want to push back on this a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
If my grass is actively getting greener, and you're saying the roots are hyperactive, and the whole yard looks dramatically better than it did a month ago in March,
I know where you're going with this.
why can't I just leave it alone? Why can't we just let nature do its thing?
It is the most natural question to ask. And honestly, it's exactly why so many yards turn into a crispy brown mess come July.
Because nature has a different plan.
Think about what nature's default plan actually is. When temperatures rise, nature does not prioritize a perfectly uniform, bright green monoculture of turf grass.
Right, nature wants variety.
Exactly. Nature's default is biodiversity. And in the context of a residential lawn, biodiversity just means aggressive weed takeovers and pest infestations.
Oh man, so true.
Right now, your lawn is doing one of two things. It is either actively building physical strength and density to survive the summer, or it is quietly becoming vulnerable to stress.
There's no in between.
There is no middle ground at all. If you just, let nature take its course, the weeds, which are genetically adapted to thrive in harsh summer heat, will absolutely win that underground arms race.
So doing nothings isn't actually being neutral.
Not at all.
Doing nothing is actively making a choice to be vulnerable to the weeds that want to take over.
Right, because weeds like crabgrass are opportunistic. They're just sitting there waiting for your turf to show a single moment of weakness.
Okay, so we can't do nothing. We have to prepare for the final exam. But here is where the biology gets really fascinating in the source material.
Yeah, the genetic differences.
Exactly. How you prepare depends entirely on the DNA of your grass. The turf is split into two totally different categories that require completely opposite strategies.
It's literally night and day.
Let's start with the warm season varieties. We're specifically talking about Bermuda and Zoysia grasses here. If you have Bermuda or Zoysia, right now is officially go time.
This is its absolute strongest growth period of the entire year.
Unlike other grasses that might be getting, stressed by the warming soil, Bermuda and Zoysia actually thrive in it.
They love it. Their cellular metabolism actually speeds up. As the heat increases, they want to spread aggressively.
So how do we capitalize on that?
Well, to maximize this specific biological growth phase, the primary goal is to help the turf thicken up and fill in any bare patches.
And step one for that is fertilization. But the guide is super clear, not just dumping cheap fertilizer on the yard.
Right, no fast food nutrients.
It calls for a very balanced fertilization program. The goal is to encourage lateral spreading. So the grass growing outwards across the dirt to build a dense canopy rather than just shooting straight up into the air.
Which is what people usually want, but it's a mistake.
Yeah, there's a massive warning attached to this in the guide. More isn't always better. Over-fertilizing can create excessive top growth without strengthening the roots at all.
It's the ultimate trap for homeowners. I mean, we see a little bit of green growth. We want it to look even greener for neighborhood barbecue.
So we panic and dump chemicals on it.
Right. We dump massive amounts of fast-acting nitrogen on the yard.
It's exactly like a bodybuilder who skips leg day.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
We all know the type, right? They spend all their time at the gym doing bicep curls and bench presses. They look incredibly impressive up top.
Wearing the tank top, massive shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. Massive shoulders, big chest. But their legs, their actual foundation, are basically toothpicks.
Right. They look strong, but the second you push them, they tip right over.
That's what over-fertilizing does to Bermuda and Zoysia, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get this incredibly lush, tall, green grass on top, but the roots, the legs of the plant, are incredibly shallow and weak.
Right. And when the summer drought eventually hits, that top-heavy grass is going to immediately panic.
Because it can't support itself.
Exactly. The massive top of the plant needs a ton of water just to survive the transpiration process and the heat. But because the roots are shallow, because the plant, as you said, skipped leg day, they cannot reach the moisture stored deeper in the soil profile.
Oh, wow. So it just scarves.
The impressive green top growth will simply scorch and die because it physically cannot support its own mass.
Which is why the next step for warm season grasses blew my mind.
Yeah.
Liquid aeration.
Yes. A game changer.
I always thought aeration meant, renting those heavy machines and driving them over the yard to punch physical holes and pull out little plugs of dirt.
Core aeration, yeah.
But the guide highly recommends liquid aeration right now, especially if your lawn struggled last year to deal with soil compaction.
Because soil compaction is the silent killer of warm season grasses. I mean, over time, from foot traffic, mowers, heavy rain, the dirt gets packed so tightly together.
It's like concrete.
It literally is. There is no microscopic room for air, water, or roots to move. The soil becomes like a brick.
Okay, but this is the part I don't get. How does a liquid break up a brick? I mean, that sounds like magic.
It's actually brilliant chemistry. Liquid aerators contain these specialized wetting agents, enzymes, and microbial food.
Okay.
When you spray it on a lawn, it penetrates the soil and chemically breaks down the electrochemical bonds that are holding that compacted clay so tightly together.
Wait, really? It alters the chemistry?
Yeah. Think of it almost like putting dish soap into a pan of hardened, greasy water. It breaks the surface tension.
Oh, I see. That makes total sense.
It creates millions of microscopic pores in the soil. This drastically improves how well the soil absorbs water and nutrients. And most importantly, it creates the physical space necessary for those roots to actually push deep down into the earth.
So it's literally the missing piece for unlocking that deep root potential.
Exactly.
If the soil is a brick, the roots can't push down to reach that deeper water no matter how much you fertilize. Liquid aeration dissolves the brick.
It creates the necessary environment for the plant to build that strong foundation. And once you have the fertilization and the aeration dialed in, you have to protect that investment.
Right.
Which brings us to weed control for Bermuda and Zoysia.
The weeds are actively competing right now. If you don't control them early, they're going to steal the exact nutrients you just put down.
Yep, they will take it all.
They're going to crowd out the healthy grass and they'll just spread aggressively into the summer.
It is a zero-sum game underground. I mean, there's a finite amount of water and a finite amount of nutrients in any given square foot of your lawn.
Right.
So every drop of water and every ounce of fertilizer that a weed absorbs is a resource physically stolen from your Zoysia or Bermuda.
So you have to eliminate them now.
Eliminating that competition right now during this go time phase ensures that 100% of those resources go toward building the density your lawn needs to actually survive July and August.
Okay, so Bermuda and Zoysia are sprinting right now. They're aggressively growing, spreading laterally, and we are actively feeding that growth while breaking up the soil so they can dig deep.
That's the game plan.
But what if you don't have a warm season grass? What if you have fescue? Because if I throw down heavy fertilizer on fescue right now, am I helping it or hurting it?
You are absolutely hurting it. And this is where understanding the DNA of your yard is paramount.
Because it's completely different.
Right. The biological reality of fescue right now is the exact opposite of Bermuda and Zoysia. Fescue is a cool season grass.
Right, which means a complete 180-degree shift in strategy. For fescue, growth is actively slowing down right now.
It does not like the rising soil temperatures.
Right, it wants the cool weather of early spring or fall. So right now isn't about pushing growth at all.
No.
It's about protecting what you already have. Your mission totally changes. You are no longer the aggressive coach, you are the defensive coordinator.
That mindset shift is crucial. Fescue is beginning to experience physiological stress simply because the environment is getting warmer.
So we have to be gentle.
Exactly. Therefore, every single action you take right now has to be designed to minimize additional stress and fortify the plant's natural defenses.
So let's break down how we actually play defense. First up is controlled fertilization. We are switching to light, slow-release feeding just to maintain color and support root health.
Right.
Because as you said, dumping heavy fertilizer on fescue right now can actually do catastrophic harm.
Think about the biology of it. The plant is naturally trying to slow its metabolism down and conserve its carbohydrate energy reserves because the environment is getting hostile.
Yeah.
Dumping a heavy dose of fast-acting nitrogen on it forces it to grow against its natural biological instincts.
Wow.
You are literally forcing a tired runner to sprint uphill. It completely depletes the plant's stored energy, leaving it exhausted and highly susceptible to the next major threat.
Which is disease.
Exactly, disease.
And disease prevention is massive right now. The guide points out that as humidity and temperatures rise in North Carolina, fungal diseases become a very real threat.
Especially things like brown patch.
Right, brown patch. So
yeah.
We have to use preventative fungicide treatments right now to reduce the risk of outbreaks.
The mechanism behind brown patch is devastating if you let it take hold.
How does it actually work?
Well, fungal spores naturally exist in the soil, like the ones that cause brown patch, which is caused by the Rhizoctonia fungus.
Okay.
When the nighttime temperatures stay above 68 degrees and the humidity spikes, those spores wake up.
And start looking for a host.
Right. If your fescue is already stressed and its cellular walls are weak, maybe because you forced it to overgrow with too much fertilizer, the fungus easily invades.
Oh, it's terrible.
It secretes enzymes that literally break down and dissolve the plant's tissue into mush.
So by the time you actually look out your window and see the visible brown circles forming on your lawn, the damage is already done.
Oh, long done. By the time you visibly see the brown patch, the fungus has already compromised the plant's cellular structure.
So you have to hit it before it starts.
Exactly. Preventative treatments act essentially as a vaccine. They coat the leaf blade and alter the plant's chemistry so that when the fungal spore tries to attach and germinate, it can't.
It's like putting up a shield.
Yes. You have to fortify the plant before the pathogen ever takes hold.
Okay, so we're lightly feeding, We're vaccinating against fungus. The next defensive measure for fescue is moisture management.
This is a big one.
The strategy in the guide is deep, infrequent watering. But I struggle with this concept. From a practical standpoint, if I'm supposed to water deeply, that means running the sprinklers for a long time.
Right, getting the water down deep.
So when I do that, the water just pools up and runs off into the street or floods down the driveway. So how does a homeowner ensure the water is actually being absorbed into the soil rather than just running away?
That runoff happens because of an issue with the soil's surface tension, not the amount of water you're putting down.
Wait, really?
Yeah. If water isn't soaking in, the physical structure of your soil is rejecting it. This goes right back to the compaction issue we talked about earlier.
Oh, the brick.
Yes. When soil is highly compacted, the water molecules essentially cohere to each other and form puddles that run off the surface rather than penetrating the microscopic gaps in the dirt.
So you can't actually execute a deep watering strategy if the soil is like concrete.
No, you really can't.
You have to intervene and condition the soil first. Probably with that liquid aeration we talked about earlier.
Exactly. You have to condition the soil to accept the moisture because the biological goal of deep, infrequent watering is to train the fescue roots.
Train them? How so?
Well, if you water shallowly every day, the roots stay right at the surface where the water is, which unfortunately is also the hottest part of the soil.
That makes sense.
If you water deeply but less often, the roots are forced to chase that moisture downward into the cooler, deeper soil layers.
It's like protecting them from the baking summer sun at the surface.
Precisely.
That makes total sense. Train the roots to hide from the heat.
Meh.
And the final defensive measure for fescue is insect monitoring. We need to be on the lookout for grubs and surface-feeding insects that are about to become highly active.
Yes. Early prevention protects the root systems.
Because grubs are just brutal, right?
They are. Grubs are the larvae of beetles, and they live in the soil directly beneath the grass. Their primary food source is the root system of your lawn. They literally chew through the roots like a pair of scissors. Now imagine your fescue is already dealing with heat stress. It's trying to fend off brown patch fungus. It's desperately trying to reach
deep water.
And then a colony of grubs comes along and just severs its root system.
Exactly. It's game over.
It's the accumulation of stressors that finally kills the lawn. Heat stress plus drought stress plus fungal stress plus insect damage.
Right.
So if you neutralize the fungus and the insects now, you are massively reducing the total stress load the plant has to carry into July.
You are giving it a fighting chance to actually survive the gauntlet. So we have these two completely diverging biological paths. Bermuda is sprinting and spreading, fescue is digging in and raising its shield. But this brings us to one massive trap that almost everyone falls into,
Oh, the universal mistake.
regardless of what type of grass they have in their yard.
And it is entirely rooted in human psychology and how we perceive problems.
The biggest mistake homeowners make is taking a reactive approach.
We just wait.
Right. We wait until the grass visibly turns brown, or the crabgrass completely takes over the driveway edges, or the brown patch fungus actually shows up.
And by then it's too late.
Exactly. The reality is, by the time you reach that point, you are forced to try and repair damage instead of preventing it. And repairing is always harder, it's significantly more expensive, and is far less effective.
It is the core thesis of strategic lawn care. Prevention versus reaction. Biological damage in plants is notoriously slow to show visual symptoms.
Right.
So when a plant is actively dying from a fungal infection, or when aggressive summer weeds have already established deep taproots and dropped hundreds of new seeds into your soil,
The fix is going to be brutal.
extremely brutal. The chemical and physical interventions required to fix the problem are severe. It takes a massive toll on the surrounding ecosystem, the surviving grass, and frankly, your wallet.
It's like waiting until your car engine is actively smoking on the side of the highway before you decide to pull over and check the oil.
That's the perfect way to look at it.
Right. By the time you physically see the smoke billowing out from under the hood, the catastrophic friction damage inside the engine is already done.
You can't just undo it.
Adding a quart of oil on the shoulder of the highway isn't going to unmelt your pistons. You have to change the oil before there's a friction problem. That's exactly what this late spring window is for your lawn.
And the damage is often entirely irreversible for that current growing season. I mean, if you lose a patch of fescue to brown patch in July, no amount of fertilizer or water is going to bring that dead grass back to life in August.
It's just gone.
You will literally be looking at a dirt patch until you reseed in the fall. And this brings us back to those high stakes for this specific 30 to 60-day golden window.
Right. The steps you take right now, between today and early summer, will directly and permanently impact 5 massive things, according to the guide.
What are they?
Your lawn's thickness, its color retention through the heat, the amount of weed pressure you face, its disease resistance, and its overall summer survival.
It really is everything.
This is the exact window where great lawns separate themselves from average ones.
So what does this practically mean for you as the listener? It requires a fundamental, immediate shift in how you evaluate your property.
Okay, so how should they be looking at it?
You have to stop looking at a yellowing, weed-infested patch of grass in August and asking, why is my lawn struggling?
Because asking that in August is totally useless. The game is already over.
The ultimate mindset shift is to look out your window at your perfectly green lawn today, right now, and ask, is my lawn actually prepared for what's coming next?
Right. Are the roots deep enough to reach water?
Are the preventative fungicide barriers in place?
Have I eliminated the subterranean weed competition?
Exactly.
So, to summarize our deep dive today, North Carolina lawns don't just randomly fail in the summer by accident.
No, they don't.
If your yard turns into a crispy, weed-filled mess in July, it is almost certainly because of missed biological opportunities right now in late spring.
Spot on.
Whether you're actively feeding the aggressive lateral expansion of warm season grasses like Bermuda, or building a defensive bunker and vaccinating your cool season fescue, the time to act is before the summer heat permanently locks you out of your options.
Because once the extreme heat actually sets in, applying standard fertilizers or weed-killing herbicides can actually flash scorch and kill the very lawn you're desperately trying to save.
Oh man, talk about backfiring.
Yeah. Your options become incredibly limited, just as we've discussed.
We really want to give credit again to the team at Lawn Pride of North Charlotte for the insights powering today's deep dive.
Their guide is a really fantastic resource.
It really is. Their focus on giving lawns exactly what they need at the exact biological moment they need it before those seasonal options disappear, it really clarifies how strategic and scientific lawn care actually is.
It's a lot more than just cutting grass.
It's not just mindlessly mowing on Saturdays and turning on a sprinkler. It's managing a complex web of biology, chemistry, and timing.
It is a highly managed, interconnected ecosystem happening right outside your front door.
Which actually leads me to a lingering question for you to mull over as we wrap up.
Let's hear it.
We've just spent this entire time exploring how a single climate like North Carolina can simultaneously host different types of grasses that require totally fundamentally opposite survival strategies.
Right.
You've got Bermuda desperately pushing for explosive growth at the exact same moment that Fescue is shutting down its cellular systems just to survive the impending heat.
It's a wild contrast.
It is. And given that biological reality, what does that tell us about how much we as humans are artificially manipulating the natural ecosystem just to maintain the aesthetic of the traditional American lawn?
It certainly challenges our perception of what natural really means when we look at our own backyards, doesn't it?
It really does. So the next time you look out the window at that lush green grass, remember our college student cramming for finals. Don't let the illusion of safety fool you.
The heat is coming.
The final exam is coming. Is your lawn ready?
Thank you for listening to the Pain in the Grass podcast, sponsored by Lawn Pride of North Charlotte, Huntersville, your go-to name in turf care for homeowners and businesses seeking beauty, quality, and reliability, powered by family and fueled by passion. Until next time, make sure to take care of that pain in the grass.